Hello, my friends. I am Henry Perez Alonso, and I am a recreation and park professional, and I welcome you to the Take 5 Challenge today. Just a little bit about me. I am the Recreation Arts and Community Services Director for the town of Danville in California. I've been in this profession, a little over 30 some odd years, or 30 some odd summers, as I like to call it. And I am here today really to connect. So what today's about, what the show's about, is connection, and it's the importance of it for us as Parks and Rec professionals, but mostly as people as well. Back in about 2018, I was part of this organization, the California Parks and Recreation Society, which is our local or our state association. And as the president, I challenged our association, our members, to take 5 minutes a month with another professional to just kind of sharpen themselves. It's an intentional effort to talk, to walk, and to just engage and really just to connect, whether it be email, like I said, having a coffee with someone. That's really what I wanted to do. I wanted people to take those same 5 minutes that you would take scrolling through, your Facebook, your Snapchat, whatever, to then engage with another park and rec professional. Because I truly believe that spending that time together will sharpen us, right? It sharpens us in our profession, in what we do and how we go. So as iron sharpens iron, we too can professionally sharpen each other through this Take 5 Challenge. The Take 5 Challenge that we've got going on right now will help to establish those kind of professional connections and really broaden your circle of people that you've got going on as professional support, but even personal support. Through this show specifically, we want to model what Take 5 looks like for you. So I will have some guests that come onto the show, chat with them for a little bit. Yes, we may take more than a little bit of 5, but it really is our opportunity to connect and show you what the challenge is all about. And for us to take 5 and to stay sharp professionally. That's what we're all about. So I'm looking forward to taking 5 today. As always, we are powered by the You Make a Difference campaign. You can find them at youmakethedifference.today. You can check us out at take5challenge.today. That's take the number 5 challenge.today, or shoot me an email at henry@take5challenge.today. So when we return, my guest for the show today is Tom Hellman. He's the Recreation and Community Services Manager for the city of Folsom. And I'm really looking forward to hanging out with Tom, who I call my friend, colleague, brother, Tom. And we're going to share some of his experiences in the Parks and Rec profession, maybe find out what his why about all this is about, and what he's doing to serve our profession. So we'll be right back and Take 5 with Tom right after this. Challenge. I am Henry Perez Alonso, and it's time. That's right. I'd like to welcome my guest, Tom Hellman. He is a certified park and recreation executive and the Recreation and Community Services Manager for the city of Folsom. So, Tom, come on down. There you are. There's that face. I know you. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, Henry. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you.
I'm doing all right. Thank you so much for taking the time to, I guess, do what we do anyway together, right? Is take 5 from time to time, but we're going to do this in this video podcast format. It's our opportunity. And I know you, like I, like to make sure that we give things out to our profession, those folks that we serve with. But I just really do appreciate you kind of coming on and hanging out with me. So we're going to kick this off.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. Sorry about that. We're going to kick this off with you, because it's about you for the moment. And actually, I want to get to know Tom. Tom, tell us a little bit about background. Who's Tom? Who's Tom Hellman?
Who is Tom? Well, I don't usually refer to myself in the third tense. So, but I will share that I think, just growing up, I always had I was always active, right? Whether that be sports, whether that be outdoors, different organizations, different things that I did. And so I feel like that's just the nature within me. And so what makes more sense than to follow a passion that I came to understand and came to love of parks and recreation, and provide those opportunities to youth of today and youth of tomorrow, and families of today and families of tomorrow, and to be able to, give them a sense of place, give them a sense of home. And as we became accustomed through our time together in CPRS and leading them and being involved in different capacities, it's absolutely true. The work that we do make lives better, and the work that we do inspire people to, stop, reflect, and not just do the hustle, bustle, and craziness that life brings. And so that's kind of what I'm about as well. Life moves fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you're going to miss it. And that's totally true. And if you don't stop to pause for a moment and to reflect and to be out and be present in the moment with your family, your kids, whomever is important in your life. You miss things and you don't get those back. And so, what I like about the work that we do in Parks and Recreation is we provide those opportunities for people, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes we need to kind of force them into, going to that event or participating within the program or the league or whatever that is. But then you find that spirit that comes out of the kids of like, oh, I really like this, and I'm so glad I was introduced to it. And that's kind of like that fuel, that energy that keeps driving us forward, I think.
That's awesome. And first and foremost, dig in the Ferris Bueller reference. So love that. I appreciate that one, being from the child of the 80s ish. So,
Yes.
but I dig that. Hey, so you're with the city of Folsom. And every time I think about Folsom, I don't know why I think about Johnny Cash and the river. But anyway, those are the two things that pop up. But when you're thinking about the stuff that you give for Folsom itself, right? Providing the programs and services, kind of what motivates your creative side with this, or what's your why when you actually do this stuff? And I know you, from knowing you're a big Simon Sinek fan, and knowing your why, and just want to think about, as you do it for Folsom, what is it that kind of charges you, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that first charges me is, you and I connection amongst the state through our involvement in CPRS and knowing the number of different professionals and the agencies they work for, the municipalities that are in. There's a synergy that takes place, and when we see successes out of those other agencies and within the profession and individuals, that again energizes at least me, to try to step it up a notch. Right? It's not like we're trying to one up each other,
Right.
but as they say in our industry, stealing something from others is a form of flattery. And we borrow, we take, and then we apply, and that becomes kind of the fun creativeness that we get within our field. But seeing that happen is really what embarks, I think, so many of us to kind of try something new and to do it a little bit better and to find success. And success is measured in many different ways in our
Right.
in our organization and or our industry. And that's not necessarily deriving money or anything like that, but I think people will say it's the heart count or the smiles or the inspirational feelings or
Yeah.
those types of emotional feelings that are drawn out of it, and that's what triggers back to why parks make life better. But at the same time, I think it's also just those opportunities that I touched on before. So many times, there's families and there's kids that don't have those opportunities, and I would hate for a child in Folsom, a family in Folsom, to not be afforded an opportunity that we believe that should be available to all. Whether that's walking on a trail, whether
Yeah.
that's learning how to fish. Some of those things they're not as common as they used to be. Maybe when you and I were kids,
Right.
and so it's a little bit more challenging to kind of keep them on the forefront when so much of it is this, right? Video
Yeah.
experiences. Well, I learned how to fish by playing a video game. you
Yeah.
know, I could cast it good and look at the big one. Well, that's great. But then you go fishing with a kid, and it's kind of like, no, this is fishing. You sit around and you wait for a really long time, and then you hope. But at the same time, is you're creating those opportunities for people. That to me is kind of what that keeps that energy going, and why I think I've stayed for as long as I have, and
Right.
why up in this Sacramento area and with the variety of different municipalities that I've worked with.
And you started in one sector of our world, right? So you started in the water. You were
Yeah,
referring to fishing, but tell me a little bit about your whole, I guess, aquatics side.
yeah, I was probably born with gills at some point. Um, at least I wish I was.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was a swimmer, water polo player, and then my mentor, my friend, who you got to meet, Jennifer McGarry. She was our recreation supervisor there in Pleasant Hill at the Park and Recreation District, and she was also the swim coach. And she basically knew when you turned 15.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was like, all right, you're coming to work for me, and you're coming to work for me, and that's how she recruited. And you just didn't say no to Jennifer. And she pulled in all these people, and became a lifeguard, became swim instructor, became swim coach, water polo coach, all these different types of things, and then kind of just led that through the progression into Parks and Recreation, where for a good 17 years I was operating aquatic centers and producing aquatic programming and leading, as a past aquatic section president for CPRS and kind of leading those initiatives and endeavors, and just understanding that. And then, you know, in aquatic programming, it's what we call a microcosm of the generality of Parks and Recreation, because you serve cradle to grave. You can
Right.
have
Yeah.
infants in there to your seniors participating in a variety of different programs. And so it was a really good opportunity just to really take that and really understand the complexities and the magnitude that goes into a full-blown Parks and Recreation department, right? And so I think that that lends a help to those that operate aquatics and understand that, to be able to then take that experience and knowledge and kind of apply it into other areas of Parks and Recreation.
Right.
We always say it's kind of difficult to take the, let's call it the collegiate level softball player and say, okay, now go train lifeguards and go that way. Whereas you can sometimes have success doing the opposite, taking the person that's in aquatics and say, okay, now you're in charge of special events.
Yeah.
Sure. Every rec swim is a special event with 1,000 people in my pool deck. Got it.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think we all have these origin stories, and I remember, like, for me, it was growing up in Sunnyvale, right, and just seeing all these people at the park sites, because the parks were really important to us, and just seeing those folks and wanting to be those folks. And then we get into this role. I think both of us, we kind of, whether we fell into it or were called by it by our Jennifers, but just being able to take it and make it a career, I think it's pretty cool. And then just to be surrounded by this and learn from it, but then also, wanting to serve back or give back, right? And I know that both of us, I think we're bound by service in this profession, right? Not just in our state association, but then beyond that. And I know that you and I both sit on that board of trustees with the California Foundation for Parks and Recreation, which is something else and could do something else for the profession. So what do you think we do or could do, through the foundation that might be of interest for, I don't know, whoever might listen to this?
Yeah, I think our role at the foundation right now is kind of multiplex, right? We've come in to kind of really kind of revigorate it, to educate others about it. There's so many different nonprofits. There's so many different foundations. Why is the California Foundation for Parks and Recreation so important, or why should I care? Those are all things that I think as trustees we're working towards and trying to find solutions. Yes, ultimately the goal of any foundation is to raise money, and then to take that money and turn it around into some level of programs, services, events, research, education, those types of things, right? And our foundation has those opportunities and is developing those and get ready to launch what's more than just a scholarship program, but whether that's research, whether that's advanced education and training opportunities, to see that the totality of park and recreation as an industry has a resource in that foundation to provide those critical and essential services that maybe are difficult in some areas of the state. I think our time on the foundation, if you will, past presidency of California Park and Recreation Society, is to kind of utilize what we've learned through our years of service, our connections, and then being able to kind of pull on those to see how can we better this foundation than when we entered it, and certainly when we left it, is it better? And that time's early, and I like that work that we're doing. I like the trustees that are involved. You've got diversity. You've got viewing viewpoints, differing viewpoints, and you've got cumulative years of experience. I think we're well into the thousands.
Yeah, it's like cracks me up. I feel like we serve with like some of the folks that would be on the Mount Rushmore of California Parks and Recreation, throughout the thing. So it's really kind of cool to see. We're like, we're the little kids. We're at the kids table right now, working out with everybody else.
We just graduated from the high chairs to like the kids table. So
which is cool. And then you also get to do, one of the fun things to watch you do from my end is to kind of lead us through the golf tournament, right? There's just one piece of the puzzle that allows us to potentially make money, for which I really like the future thinking, right? Our research and stuff like that in the profession. But I think it's super cool that you've been able to lead us through these fun golf tournaments, make it professional, yet, little Parks and Rec, feel as well.
Yeah, no, it's just super fun. And, something I was excited to kind of take on and endure, and, and raising money is not a far stretch from what I've done in the past with my involvement in CPRS. So I was like, let's do it. And I think that's what the foundation was really calling to me for, is with the action associated to doing something, developing something, providing, whether that be financial resources back to the foundation, but also that education and that understanding of who the foundation is. And I think we're well on our way to capture that.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree on that one. What the other funny thing is when I think about you, when I hear about you, and when I just chat with you, there's something that kind of also drives you and has driven you, which is to just do the right thing. And I love that saying, and it makes sense when I because I know you, but not everybody knows you. So tell me about like what is just do the right thing mean to you?
Yeah. My no pun intended, because I did tear my Achilles tendon in 2010, but my Achilles heel seems to be that I am too. I don't like the political acumen, right? Um, and for me, doing the right thing basically means take everything out of the equation of what you think someone's going to say or believe as far as your action. You're always going to have somebody that doesn't agree with the way you should be doing it, or somebody
Right.
that does agree with the way you should do it. But generally, if you were to try to cut through all these layers, you will find what is the right thing that you should be going for, right? And too many times we get to that point, and then it gets clouded, it gets murky, things get dumped onto it, and then your decision of what you wanted to do or the action you wanted to take now gets watered down or it gets altered, and now you're skewed way over in this direction, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I use it around here, and people are like, "You're right. We should just do the right thing." And the right thing is this is what it should be, and that's the case. I mean, life is hard enough. Like, why make it harder? And
That's
some,
totally true. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to watch. And when I say it, when I read that phrase and just kind of hear about that and connect it to you, I'm like, well, yeah, that's Tom.
yeah,
That's Tom. And that's what I've seen him throughout the years do. And I think it also rubs off. So like, it's not that you're just doing that for you, but you talk about it, they're talking about it at work. I can tell you that that's affected me too, to kind of start thinking about that. And now I have a phrase to it, right? Just do
yeah,
the right thing. It's like, yeah, it's not that I wasn't, it just was, if you get down to it, are we doing the right thing here? And
right,
and I know that we've had those conversations even when we've been part of whatever boards to make those decisions. It comes down to that. We may not
mm,
have expressed it that way, but it just comes down to that. And I just want to say thanks. No,
yeah,
honestly, thank you, because I think that's really cool. And I didn't realize until maybe this moment that I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I've been following that the whole time. So I think it's really cool. Hey, this was our chance to model. It's a real short conversation. And I don't want to
yeah,
cut you off or anything, but I just dig the time that we're spending in. And I want to ask you, Tom, thanks for
yes,
are you someone who's willing to, because what I'd like to do is connect people throughout the states, right?
yeah,
Um, would you be willing to be a Take Five ambassador? And if I can connect you with someone else and be able to share your experiences with others, are you in? That's all I want to know. Would you willing to take five with others?
absolutely. We did that in 2018, and it was great. I met somebody I'd never met before, and I think it's continued on. And I think if this the program you have going here, if it's an opportunity to kind of rebuild that and re-energize it to folks, you need more ambassadors, so I'm in
That's
easily.
awesome,
Just
because I want to do it, because really want to take what we do and spread the love, throughout the states and maybe even Canada. Let's go international. Just,
oh,
just for kicks on that one.
can we go south first?
And we can go either way. So, hey, before I go, before you go or let you go, where can people get a hold of you? Where do you want them to reach out to you?
The best thing would probably just be to find me on LinkedIn, just Tom Hellman, and you can connect with me there, and we can either figure out a phone call, figure out a messaging platform, whatever the case is going to be. But that's usually the best versus some level of direct email that might change in the coming
Yeah. Yeah, that's
whatever
true.
time frame. So, but the LinkedIn profile will always be there.
Well, Tom, thanks so much. Again, I'm just honored to call you friend, colleague, brother, all of that. And thanks so much for hanging out with me today and just taking five or a little more than five. Really appreciate that. So for the rest of you that are out there, we'll be right back as I just share some thoughts of our conversation with Tom today.
NGBN TV, a network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, coming January 2024.
Really cool conversation. I know that I could have spent way more time with Tom, asking him 20 million more questions. And I know that there's so much that we can gain from him, his insight and his experience. And I think that when we look at it as a whole, we'll have him back. We'll dive into that. But some of the things that I always pull from him and knowing, and hopefully you pull the same thing from it, is he understands why he's doing it and what drives him. And that's something I think we all need to ask ourselves about. So what is, again, to coin the phrase from Simon Sinek, do we know our why? But just why do we do what we do? Why do we serve who we serve? What are we trying to get out of them? What are we utilizing from our experiences, whether it's being plucked, to be a lifeguard at a pool or to take on more challenges and serve your profession? Why are you doing it? And what is the outcome? And then also the question, I guess, for all of us would be, what if we didn't? What would be the impact if we didn't? And I know that the impact without someone like Tom on your side is that we might miss, some really cool experiences, and we might miss the opportunity to do the right thing. So with him in general, we know our why. We got to be willing to share what we've got with others. And at the end of the day, do the right thing. And I really love that. And I'm going to be thinking about that, I think, for quite a long time right now, which is really cool. I appreciate the man that I got to share with you guys today, that for our Take 5, looking forward to spending more time with him and sharing, more opportunities and experiences that I have through that as well. At the end of the day, again, why we are here is the connections. It's about connecting. It's about becoming stronger together, because I truly believe that as a profession, the power of connection can make all the difference in the world, right? And if it's not making the difference in the worldwide world, then we're making the difference in one person's world, in one corner of the world. And I want to make sure that through this program, through the Take 5 Challenge, that we are out there, we are connecting. I want to connect with you. I want to be sharpened by you. I want to sharpen you. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're paying attention, send me a note. Tell me that you're willing to take the Take 5 Challenge. Help me bring the challenge to your area. Tell me who you want to see. Who do you want me to take 5 with? Or maybe you want me to take 5 with you. Who's fun to take 5 with? But the Take 5 Challenge, again, is powered by the You Make a Difference campaign. You can find them at youmakethedifference.today. You can find me, as always, at take5challenge.today. Take the number 5 challenge.today, and then Henry at take5challenge.today. So take the challenge, stay sharp professionally. I look forward to connecting with you and whoever else that you bring to my world. So thank you, and thanks for taking 5.
This is NGBN TV, a network for men and home to top experts, speakers, authors, and more.
I'm Chris Rubio of The Rubio Method.
I'm Charles Wallace of the Bear Essentials Podcast.
This is Bud from the Sports or Gibberish Podcast.
Streaming TV for men, created by men.
Hello, my name is Ian Hill, and I have the tremendous honor of being the CEO of NGBN.TV. We are so excited for you to join us on this journey, helping us build a television network for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s.
I am NGBN.
I am NGBN.
I am NGBN.
I'm NGBN, and so are you.
Join our movement at NGBN.TV, coming January 2024.